So I'm not going back and forth with a man who thinks that they should be in my position. If you want to be in my position, get in my position.
Do you believe that?
Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to The Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain, here live from the Bluff City Media Studios. Kenny Stubblefield behind the glass. What's going on, Kenny?
My brother, it's a good day, man.
Man, it's a good day, man. It was not a good evening for me saying last night. Of course, this show was going to air on Friday before the Grizzlies prepared to take on the Denver Nuggets at home. But I'm recording this show in response to last night's 111 to 104 loss to the New Orleans Pelicans at the FedEx Forum. It started off so well, Kenny Stubblefield. I'll give you a recap of my day. Sat down and I ate food in the Grizzlies dining area, which is usually a hit or miss experience.
What is it? Yeah, what is the food like up there?
I'll tell you, man. When they a few years ago, like maybe I'm saying a few, it's probably like 5 or 6, but a few years ago, the food was actually very good because they would have at least one dish there that was being prepared fresh in front of you, like some type of pasta dish where you can get like chicken, beef, whatever you want in it, vegetables, whatever. And it would be some type of rice dish, or it'd be something they prepare hot and fresh per your request, right?
Yep.
But they don't do that anymore. It's typically just like, and then it's usually like a couple sides to choose from, and 2 meats or 2 entrees to choose from. It was just some type of pot roast yesterday and some other thing. I don't really know what this was, though. I don't know what this. It looked like a dumpling, but it wouldn't. I don't know what this was, but it wasn't bad food. My night started off fine as far as that goes. The Grizzlies had a phenomenal introduction thing. Like, it was really tight. They had some Timu Jabberwockies out there going on. They had Tony Allen and Zach Randolph doing introductions. They had like the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, I believe. Was playing. I can't remember the hip hop song. I can't remember it was a Memphis rap song they were playing, but I just don't know what it was. I can't remember what it was. That was dope. The guys came out super locked in, super focused, like with no bouncing around, jumping around. They walked in like it's strictly business. They were looking like they were about business when the game started. But yeah, that didn't last very long at all. Second quarter, New Orleans Pelicans expanded the lead, and the Grizzlies just couldn't get back into it. Xavier Tillman had a great game. I want to say he had 17 and 4, maybe. 17 and 14.
Yeah, 17, 14.
17, 14, and 4. He had 4 assists as well last night. Like I said before going into the game, I'm not really stressing as much about Steven Adams missing as a starter, because I think that Tillman-Jaren lineup will be fine. Even long-term, I think it'll be fine. But we need something, because Tillman's typically a bench player. So you don't have anybody off the bench who can just give you muscle, rebounds, things like that. But him and Jaren together were fine. It was just when it was either him or Jaren.
Yeah, it was rough.
It just didn't look good at all, man. I think that's going to be a recurring theme. So I think the Grizzlies do need to do something to shore that up. Especially against when you're looking at a team like the Pelicans, who are a matchup nightmare for a team that's short on big men. Our old friend, Jonas Valanciunas, was out there beasting. Jaren, did as much as he could against him. He was fine. Especially a guy who is a matchup nightmare for a Jaren. Zion Wiliamson makes me so mad, man. Because I'm like, dude, like, you still looked extremely out of shape last night. Looked like you had a BBL over the summer. You out there catching lobs, you dunking on folks. I'm like, man, Zion just would not go away. I'm one of those people who I'm joking about he makes me mad. I really support Zion Williamson. I really think he's a phenomenal basketball player. Some of the things he does are just pure electric. And he's just so hard to deal with, man. He's strong, he's physical, he can get rebounds. He plays above the rim sometimes. And he's just a real freak of nature, for sure. So
those first 3 quarters, dude, he did not look good.
Nah, he just started going off in that fourth quarter when, I'm not gonna say garbage time, but he kind of found a way to get going. I think the crowd was kind of messing with him too, and he turned it up. I will say this: Jaren Jackson Jr. Y'all know I defend Jaren at all costs. I don't really have much to defend Jaren about today. He's got to bring it. I'm sure he will. I'm not really concerned about Jaren Jackson Jr. He's one of those guys. He's a slow starter, and he's a guy who he's not going to. Jaren doesn't really realize, okay, this is the game plan, but I'm about to do this because I got to assert myself here for us to be this. He's not that type of guy. Jaren is offensively, as far as like the pecking order on his team, he's probably a 1A, number 2 type guy. But as far as like offensive assertiveness, he's not that type of guy. He's not going to come out and say, okay, well, they're not running stuff for me. I'm just going to go make stuff happen.
Right.
And kind of buck against what we're doing.
Right.
That's not what Jaren is. I think that the team has to make an effort to get him going. Because even with the stuff we saw with Desmond Bane, I think if you try to find ways to get Jaren going early in the game, it just makes things easier for Desmond Bane to do.
The Grizzlies kind of got caught up in a little bit of a conundrum last night when they in the second quarter, especially when Jaren wasn't asserting himself. They started kind of getting down by double-digit points, and they started just jacking threes.
Yeah.
Just kind of the flow of the offense was just not there.
Right, and I like our half-court offense. I like the looks they're getting. I like the sets they run. A lot of great looks for guys. Luke Kennard 0 for 5 from 3. You doubt you'll see that again. Desmond Bane was 5 of 10. And the way he was putting it up, man, with ease and not forcing any shots, a lot of good open looks. I expect to see games where he's going 7 of 10.
Hey, by the way, real quick, we just had a special guest come walking in the door.
Who is it?
Beat writer for the Memphis Grizzlies, BCM's beat writer.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Paris Shark is in the building.
What they do?
Paris, what's going on, man? You made your first regular season beat writer debut at a Jaren Jackson type rim protecting big, and you're gonna have a guy who's actually a wing playing at the 4. So I think those type of games, that's what most of the league looks like. So I think that this Jaren and Tillman starting lineup is fine. I don't think that's an issue. I just think they need another beefy big to come out the bench.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're fine. Even with, like when the Steve Adams news first dropped, it was like, okay, insert Tillman, but we just need somebody out there.
Right.
And I understand Junior, he's just not tall enough to be a true center. So you really do need a legit center coming behind him. But yeah, those minutes they played together were fine. It was when he went to those smaller lineups. Because really, you look at the plus minuses, like Tillman was one of the higher plus minuses on the team, and Jaren was only a -1.
Yeah.
So it was just really the bench that really struggled.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, we'll be fine, man. Fans are going crazy, but I promise you that we'll be okay. Like I don't know what's gonna happen against Denver. I can totally see the Grizzlies turn around and getting Denver up out of here though. Like it's just kind of how they are, and I think a lot of things that weren't normal from last night, they'll get back to normal Friday. And I expect Luke Kennard to bounce back. I expect Jaren to bounce back, and hopefully we get Santi back. Hope Luke Kennard plays. Now that I think about it, because he took a nasty bump yesterday as well. But yeah, man. But we'll take a break when we come back. My man Josh Coleman is going to join me for the sit down with Sain. Make sure y'all come check it out here on the Anthony Sain Show.
If I hear one more time post-game from anybody, staff, player, fan, they ran something defensively we hadn't seen on film, I'm going to lose my mind.
If you and I were head coaches for 2 different teams, do you think you would change up just a little bit what you do?
Oh, yeah.
Every game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope our defense is doing that. I hope our offense is doing that. I legitimately, when I heard that, I was like, I misunderstood the statement. Or he misunderstood the question. Because there's no way in hell you want me to believe that you were like, they just didn't run the same thing that we've seen on film the past 6 weeks.
Yeah,
There's no way.
It's like taking a test and expecting all the answers to be given to you beforehand.
Look,
the questions were different than the practice test.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I don't think Seth has progressed since his freshman year, and I think that's pretty obvious. I think he's regressed in a lot of ways.
Especially turnovers. That's the biggest one.
In managing how he throws the ball and where he throws the ball and the timeliness of throwing said ball. I think he has regressed in putting the ball in harm's way. That much is very obvious, but there's a lot of reasons that could be the case.
Turnovers don't come from a vanilla or lack of creativity on offense. They just come from, most of the time, bad ball placement.
Yes.
Or bad reads.
Yes.
You can't place turnovers on an offensive system. And I don't know if it's
you can place bad offense on an offensive system.
Yes.
And the lack of sort of
explosiveness,
running game, all those other things. Place that directly on the offensive system. 7 picks?
Yeah.
No. Can't do it.
That's on ball placement. And
that's on 2. That's on number 2 himself.
Yeah. Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Sit Down with Sain. A lot of you may not know who this gentleman is. This is one of my guys for real. I know I stay saying everybody my guy, man, but for real though, like in my path to get to where I am or wherever I'm going, this brother played a key element in that. He is the founder of 3 Shades of Blue, the original OG independent journalism fan website, whatever y'all blog site, whatever y'all want to call it. Whatever y'all doing out there now, man. This dude was doing it way before y'all. Just know that. That's not just with the Grizzlies. They were doing this way before any market was really doing this type of stuff. One of the first NBA markets to have a fan site that's birthed so many people, man. So many people came from that site to do other things. You look at Bluff City Media, we're definitely
absolutely.
We're definitely a byproduct of what you guys,
one of our owners.
One of our owners, Zach Thomas, came from 3 Shades of Blue. And man, I'm gonna give you your flowers, man. I know you've pretty much stepped away from the game, but my man Josh Coleman is here. Somebody who I definitely would grind with for years doing this before I got to what I'm doing now. Josh, like I said, you are one of the OGs as far as non-traditional independent journalism is concerned. What's it like now when you see so many independent journalists out here, or just companies like, Bluff City Medias of the world, or so many different blog sites, so many podcasters? And because back in the day, man, it was like, does anybody know how to do web design and and all this type of stuff? And then it was like, you had to if you want to get your voice out there, you had to buy radio time or ask somebody who you made friends with, could you get a quick segment on the radio with them or interview or something? And now it's like, so many tools are at people's possessions. You can go on WordPress or whatever, StreamYard or whatever you're doing, Squarespace, whatever. You can start your own website. You can do your thing and be independent. What's it like now, seeing how much has changed, how many more people out there, and then just the levels that people have taken it to?
I mean, for me, it's really exciting, honestly, because I think one of the biggest things was media was years, and of course we still see it to a certain extent. And I know you can definitely speak to this in terms of having proper representation, especially like in the city of Memphis. It's easy for me to say, hey, look, there were a bunch of white dudes covering sports in Memphis for the longest time, and now we're actually starting to see some not just people of color, but
Women.
women covering sports. And so that was one of the things that, when we started doing the radio show in 2013, that I had our producer, Philip Dean, I was like, find me women who want to come on the show.
Right.
And talk about stuff like that. Because it wasn't something that you saw a lot of.
Yeah.
And so all of that opening up, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, because you get the representation, but also because you're getting all these different viewpoints that you just never got before.
Right. And it's great because, like you said, you have so many people who, like back then, when you had 3 Shades of Blue, you had Saturday morning radio. I don't know the situation financially you had with that, but I'm assuming that you was something where you had to give something. It was a transactional situation.
Oh, yeah, we paid for radio
right,
time.
exactly. So
and we had sponsors to help cover that.
Mm-hmm. But in these days, it's like I can create a podcast and it goes into the same pool of information everyone else's stuff goes into. And it's like if I want to go listen to the ESPN shows, or I want to go listen to the 92.9 or 560 or Grind City Media, Bluff City, whatever you want to do, there are people who want to find you can easily find you. And I just think that's an amazing thing. And I thank people like yourself, man, who stepped out and, like I said, made the blueprint because everything that you guys started off doing, someone is taking it now to the next level. But I got to give credit to 3 Shades of Blue, man, the OGs out here. Back when the Grizzlies had 3 Shades of Blue.
Yeah,
they're down to 2 now.
I know.
Right, that third shade just got kicked off to the side, man. So what are your thoughts on what you saw last night? Grizzlies had a tough loss against the Pelicans, lost 111-104. What are your thoughts on that opening night game from the Grizzlies?
The biggest problem I had with last night was it looked like so many of the guys just seemed like they were just kind of sleepwalking. You could tell, obviously Desmond Bane really wanted to be out there, was doing his thing. Xavier Tillman played really hard like he always does. And, you had a couple other guys that they would, Marcus Smart, obviously, he only knows how to play one way. But with some of the other guys, it just kind of felt like they were just kind of going through the motions, and I couldn't tell if it was just opening game jitters, if they're still a little shell-shocked after the Steven Adams news, and then obviously not having Santi either. But no, I think as much as, we know the overreaction of all Memphis fans all the time, doesn't matter, if it's good or bad, they're going to overreact. I think as much of the overreaction as we saw, there are things there that can be fixed, but there's still one glaring thing that, obviously a move's going to have to happen, and they've got to find another big man, to come in and do not all the things that Steven Adams does. Because, I know we saw a few of the writers that we both follow on Twitter talk about, he's one of one. When you talk about the rebounding, the defense, and the screen setting, the passing, all the stuff that he does, he's one of one. But find somebody who can at least cover some of those things in a way that Xavier Tillman, as hard as he plays, is just not going to be capable of doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jaren has to be better. I talked about that in the first segment. I'm not going to come here to write Jaren off like some people are doing.
No.
Like yesterday's game is not an indictment of who Jaren is, except for I will say Jaren is typically a slow starter.
He is.
He's one of those guys who he's not going to buck against whatever the game plan is. Like if they're not involving him, he's not going to involve himself. That's who Jaren is, and I'll give people that. But I just he definitely has to step up. But I think that thing is fine. And when I say that, I'm looking at the whole Tillman Jaren starting lineup thing.
Right.
And I was going into the game, I was like, I think that can work. I just think they just have to do some other stuff around that to kind of solidify around that. But after I watched it yesterday, the actual minutes where Jaren and Tillman were on the court together, we looked fine.
Yeah.
Even against JV and Zion or whatever.
Against a team whose roster really was the worst possible matchup when you don't have a Steven Adams, much like it was with the Lakers last year, to where it was like, these guys are huge across the board. Like CJ McCollum's their point guard, and he's a big dude to be a point guard. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they definitely need to get at least one true center on this roster that can kind of solidify things. But I'm fine with the Tillman Jaren lineups. And I know I'm not going to feel any better about it Friday because you got Jokic coming to town. But most teams in the NBA are not what we're about to see for the next 2 games, first 2 games. You know what I mean?
That was the one thing that amused me after all the movement through the offseason. Everybody's talking about this team and that team and that team. I'm like, nobody really addressed how to stop Nikola Jokic. Right. So I still think the Nuggets are the favorites. And same deal, even as good as Steven Adams is, he typically didn't fare
he's gonna
well
get his ass
against
cooked
Jokic
too.
either. Yeah.
So I think it's a horrible first 2 games to start out with, but I'm hoping Washington kind of looks a little bit more normal.
Right.
Because
with our old friend Tyus.
Yeah, old friend Tyus Jones. I think Jaren's going to look better against, what's the guy's name? Against Kyle Kuzma of the world. And I think that Tillman will look better against whatever, Daniel Gafford or whoever their center is.
Right.
I think that'll be but most teams, that's how they look. You have your center who's probably 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", and there's a small forward playing as a forward. Like that's today's NBA. So I think that could be a mismatch for us, you know what I mean, with the guys we throw out.
Sure. And that's, typically a guy like Jaren is playing center for a lot of teams, right now. And of course, if you had, Brandon Clark healthy and slot him in at power forward, then it's a completely different story. But obviously, he's out for the season as well.
I just think everybody's got to take a breath, man. But I'm glad that we're kind of on the same page.
Oh, yeah. Well, and one thing that I want to point out, everybody looks at Xavier's line and says 17 and 12. He was doing what he was supposed to. How come Jaren didn't grab rebounds? And they're not paying attention to what Jaren is doing on the court, doing the same thing that Mark used to do for Zebo. He's boxing out a guy like Jonas Valanciunas so that Xavier can grab
beat,
that. Again, that's one of those things that people who know ball pick up on stuff of that and don't just read box scores and go, he didn't rebound. It's like, well, he was clearing the path for somebody else to get it.
And just like on media day, when I asked the question to Steven Adams, I said, hey, so Jaren said he wants to be a better rebounder.
Right.
What are your thoughts on what Jaren said? He put me in my place pretty much. It was like, hey, Jaren does what we're supposed to do in this team strategy. Like my job is to get the rebounds. Jaren's job is to clear out, play defense, block shots.
We look at rebounding.
We got this.
Yeah, we look at rebounding as an individual thing instead of a team thing too often. And the number of guys that are actual like instinctive rebounders, like a Rodman. Kevin Love is a great instinctive rebounder. Just knows where the ball's going to come off the rim. Those guys are few and far between. And so many guys that we say, oh, he's a great rebounder, like an Andre Drummond. Well, he's just grabbing all the rebounds because he doesn't do anything else.
Right.
That's literally what he's there for, and that's his only job.
Yeah. You mentioned Andre Drummond. Not saying that he's the answer. He's a guy I'm definitely taking a look at if the Grizzlies decide to trade for a guy. The feeling is that they're going to get these 5 games out of the way before Ja's suspension threshold allows them to get that exception to sign someone extra to the roster. But if I look at, I've looked at all the scenarios. I've seen the James Wiseman stuff, how you can add, I've looked at all that. I mean, but what do you think the Grizzlies are going to do? How do you solve that problem, long and short term? Because long term, you're going to have Adams back next year on the expiring deal, and whoever you were talking about getting this year, depending on what kind of move you make.
Yeah, and so that's definitely got to factor into. You don't want to overpay for a guy to be your starter if your real starter is going to be coming back next year anyway. I think teams know that you need it, and so they're going to try and force you to overpay. I mean, just ridiculously to get that guy right now. So I think you have to go with like a stopgap, somebody that you can either, just sign outright or, somebody who's like the third big on a team that they're just not getting any playing time. And then maybe once you get closer to, say the trade deadline, okay, maybe then you can get somebody who's a legit starting quality center. Yeah. I was looking on the different websites last night, like Hoops Hype. It's like, okay, who are the free agent centers out there? And I'm looking at these names going, nope. It was like Bismack Biyombo. I'm like, no, we don't want that guy. Of course, my initial reaction that I put out there on Twitter was, does this mean I'm finally going to see Boogie Cousins in the Grizzlies jersey and all my dreams are going to come true? And of course, people were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm just saying the dude's playing in China. He's 6'10", 270. He can do a lot of the stuff we need him to do. And
I just think he's going to want the ball too much.
Oh, he's Boogie. But again, look at him as more of a stopgap kind of guy. And more than anything, that was just to quit, having people talk about Dwight Howard.
Oh my God.
I'm like, we had him on the roster and they paid him to go away because we don't want Dwight Howard because he's a total head case.
Right. Absolutely, for sure. I want to talk about the Dwight Howard stuff. I was thinking about doing that in our 3-pointer, which is our next segment, where I talk about stuff going on in the world of sports. But it's like everybody's kind of pointing the finger at, I don't care who he sleeps with. Like, man, are y'all reading the story? Like, are y'all reading what this dude did? He did a little bit more than have homosexual sex, man. Like, it said that he literally like raped the dude. Like, that's what he's being accused of.
And that's
how do you know that happened? Like, all right, bro. Like, I'm not saying it did or it didn't, but I'm not looking for that type of stuff.
With him, I can even just take a step back and go, just the on the court stuff and in the locker room. Like, how many of Dwight Howard's teammates have stood up for him at any point throughout his entire career?
Yeah.
And it's like none of them, because they all seem to hate his guts.
Yeah, most people say he's an asshole.
Exactly. And it's like,
Yeah.
why would we want to invite
Right.
that into this, especially in light of, like Derrick
Right.
Rose's comments.
Exactly.
And where he's like, I've never been in a locker room where these guys actually liked each other this much.
Yeah, and it's like with Dwight, man, the whole thing is just like, I don't know what happened with him in that situation. I know what he's being accused of.
Sure.
But I know things that from people that I do trust that make me think, I'm not gonna say that makes make it seem like he did that.
Right.
But I've heard tons of character issues about Dwight Howard. So as far as crossing the line or just this things he said disrespectful to women, and so I'm like, all right, so I don't want that dude on my team at all, because I know the type of guy he is. And there's a difference between guys who, because someone said, man, Dwight Howard, man, like you hear him talk, he's desperate to be on the team. No, man, he's desperate to get back in the NBA. Like he's thinking about
desperate for
himself.
money.
Yeah, he's desperate for NBA money. Like he's not desperate to there's nothing in me that makes me think that if Dwight Howard came to this team, he's gonna be like, man, whatever y'all need me to do, I'll just rebound. I'm cool, no problem. He'll be a dude joining in on criticisms of Jaren or something like that. He'll be one of them type of dudes. You know what I mean? Because this is the same dude that got into it with Anthony Davis on the sideline. And
Exactly.
Like, man, I'm super good on all that type of stuff.
And that, especially when you just brought in a guy like Marcus Smart, and we saw him last night.
Who's crazy.
But you need a crazy
Control
guy.
crazy.
You and I always talk about that. You
Yeah.
need a crazy guy on the team, absolutely. But, so Luke Kennard gets hit in the face.
Oh, he's ready to fight everybody.
And no call. And Luke's over there just bleeding on the floor. And Marcus Smart gets right in the ref.
Say, man, my man, what's your name, bro?
Exactly.
Luke Kennard. Yeah,
Exactly.
Luke Kennard, man. Look at that.
And he knew. He was like, I don't care what happens. He said, I'm getting teed up.
Yeah.
Because I'm standing up for my guy right here.
I was just thinking this about my head like this. Does Marcus Smart even know who Luke Kennard is?
No.
What's your name, bro?
Exactly.
Oh, hey man, y'all got my boy Luke Kennard messed up.
Exactly.
Like I can see him going off and not even really knowing who Luke Kennard is. But yeah, I'm excited about all that. Desmond Bane last night, 31 points, 5 of 10 from 3. That dude is going to be an all-star. Like there's no scenario where Desmond Bane isn't an all-star.
I love both you and Jessica Benson. It's every time you mention Desmond Bane, it's future all-star.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% there with you.
Yeah, that's happening, man. Like
I could see. I said this to somebody before the game. I was like, I could see by the time Ja comes back, Desmond actually being the leading scorer in the NBA.
Yeah, for real though. Like
he's
no
going to
joke.
have to do that. For
He's
going to
have to do it. Yeah.
But he's got that talent level.
Yeah, because he's going off, man. Like he's getting to the basket. And there was a couple plays where he was making like alpha dog moves to the basket, and he just didn't finish the layup.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, man. Once he gets his foot and starts trusting that foot and understand he's got to be that dude for this team, like he's going to be averaging 28, 29 points a game. Like I think that's going to happen for sure. And he took 10 threes, made 5 of them. They were effortlessly. It didn't seem like he was forcing anything.
Right.
And I can see him making 7 out of those 10 any given night.
And he was the only guy that didn't have a lid on the rim last night too. Because everybody else, it was like they could not hit anything.
Right. But their offense, man, they were getting some nice looks, man.
And that's the thing. It was wide open looks. They just weren't going in. And that's the number of times I just said, well, they don't all go in last night, was just too many to count.
And on Marcus Smart, speaking of the nice looks, to see our primary defender be a guy that's moving the ball. He has some turnovers now because he gets a little loose with the ball.
He does.
But he was moving the ball, man. I'd rather my turnovers be like a bad pass or a shooting turnover where you're throwing up bricks, and then now it's getting rebounded. That's a turnover to be as well. If you're taking bad shots, it's a turnover.
It is.
So to see my wing defender be a guy who's moving the ball, looking to find guys, taking his shot when it's open, I liked what I saw from Marcus Smart. I liked the leadership from him.
Yeah, I think there was only like one heat check 3 that he took, and the rest of them, it was just in the flow of the offense.
And I was with it. I was with it.
Did y'all not watch that game last night and just go, man, when Ja gets back, they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right.
They're going to get a big. We know that, and Ja's going to be back. And when Ja gets like some of those dull moments where we couldn't find the guy to score,
right?
Ja's the guy who goes on those 1-man 8-0 runs himself. So,
and one of the biggest things is something that our buddy Matt Moore talks about a lot. He's like, Ja Morant is the sun. Everything gravitates towards him when he's on the floor, and that's what makes it easier for Desmond to take threes, Jaren to take threes, Kennard to take threes.
Yeah,
because as soon as he hits the lane, everybody just sucks into him.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy,
and he draws so much attention.
Are you worried about Luka though?
I'm not. I mean, I'm worried about the fact that apparently he's might have to go into concussion protocol based on what they said last night. Yeah. But in terms of him going 0 for 5 last night, I'm really not that concerned
Yeah,
about
because he'll
it.
go 5 or 6 the next game.
Exactly.
Which is
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you love for guys to hit their averages, if it's 3 for 5 or whatever, but yeah, if they go for 5 one game and 5 for 6 the next, then it all evens out.
Hopefully we won't need these guys later on, but David Roddy and Jake LaRavia. Would those dudes
Roddy
be?
Roddy played a decent game, but he had one sequence in the second half where, and I forget who it was. It was like a mini fast break kind of thing, and he goes down, kind of challenges the layup attempt. The guy missed it for the Pelicans, and Roddy's just standing there.
Yeah, it was
guy grabbed the rebound, and Roddy's
Daniels.
standing there, and Dyson Daniels. He missed it again, and Roddy still basically didn't even challenge for the rebound or a shot. And I was, me. I get a little passionate at games, and so I was screaming a little bit, but I was just like, that's inexcusable. And apparently, according to Fish, the entire next huddle was about second chance points and eliminating that. And I was like, okay, Taylor Jenkins sees it.
Yeah. So Jake LaRavia, what are your thoughts on him?
He didn't play a bad game, but he's a slow-footed perimeter player, so he's going to foul too much, and if he's not hitting shots, he's not doing a whole lot for you. But this does remind me of one thing that I absolutely had to talk to you about. You have got to stop going on Twitter telling people that that we should have Walker Kessler instead of Jake LaRavia.
All right, explain.
No. You have to do it because there's no way you wanted the Grizzlies to spend a first-round pick on a white dude, and we both know it. So.
But they did, though.
That's what I'm saying. You can't be the one to do that. I can do it, but you can't do it. So.
But I'm saying they drafted LaRavia anyway, though.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
But nobody expected Walker Kessler to walk into the league and
this
and grab double-digit rebounds.
We probably would have
for
Yeah, we probably would have felt the same way about Kessler coming in, but and then I also.
And again, I don't have real sources, but based on some of the people I've talked to around the team,
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and that's the kind of guy
that kind of
Kyle
makes sense
is.
though, because both of them went to California schools. Yeah, that probably makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about it. Yeah,
and so he doesn't have that as support, and of course, like I said, he's looking at guys that are potentially coming for his job, and so it's like we forgot about how good he was at the end of his rookie year going into the playoffs,
right?
And now. Obviously, we're seeing that again. He didn't have a great game last night, but he did a bunch of little things, and he bothered Brandon Ingram plenty on defense.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good thing to note, that how Zaire has really stepped his game up, because the guy I'm seeing now, maybe I totally forgot what he looked like his rookie year, but this guy seems better than what I remember him being. Even when we were talking about how good he was.
You go look at that April of his rookie year. You're seeing a lot of the same things there.
Man, I don't have it. All I remember Zaire doing was like running fast.
Yeah.
Running to the corner and shooting corner threes and playing defense. But like now he's attacking off the dribble a little bit more. He looks like a dude who needs to be on the court. Like if he gets all those minutes, once everybody's back, and I hope he gets all those minutes. Like I don't want, if Jake and David Roddy just sit there and cheerlead, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, especially for right now. I want to see Z playing, like in that 30-minute per game, type of function.
Because Ingram was cooking him a little bit, but Ingram was working to get every bucket he had.
What was Ingram, like 7 of 18 last night?
Yeah, he was working.
Like
I'm really, really, really impressed with Zaire, man.
And he's a guy just like C.J. McCollum, certified Grizz killer.
Man, who you telling?
So if you make Ingram go 7 for 18 to get that many points, I'm fine with it.
Final thoughts with my man, Joshua Coleman, founder of 3 Shades of Blue, the OGs in independent journalism, whatever you want to call it here in the city of Memphis. Final question for you. After I asked this question, everybody who sat down with me since this Grizzlies thing has got started, have you ever seen a player in Grizzlies history who is, in all intents and purposes, your 15th man that gets as much attention, dissection? Why isn't he playing as Junior Lofton? Like, and I'm a Junior Lofton. I'm Junior Mafia. I'm proud of Junior Mafia. I get all that. But it's like, man, Like, and then his dad puts a tweet out yesterday. His dad's tweets are protected, and some people can see him. There was some screenshots came out where his dad was saying, if you're not going to, like he says, Taylor Jenkins, if you're not going to play him, just trade him. So what are your thoughts on the whole, Kenny didn't play last night. What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I mean, we had a couple guys who didn't play last night. And then, you know, it's one of those that I see what Kenny's able to do on the floor. I also see what he's not able to do.
Yeah.
And I think that more than anything, his defensive limitations are probably what's keeping him from getting consistent playing time. And of course, again, we're just one game into it. So I can definitely see that being, you know, something that he's going to have to work on, as well as, and I know this was super overblown by a lot of people, but his physical conditioning has to be better. Just because he's got to be able to not just get up and down the floor, but he's got to be able to get up and down vertically, you know, in the role that he's going to have to play, matching up with against a lot of guys that are bigger and stronger than him.
I felt deprived I didn't see any Zion versus Junior minutes, man. That would have been,
I mean,
pretty beefy matchup.
I was going to say that would have been the WWE Big E thing, you know, skid all over again.
Yeah, man. I hate that I didn't get to see some Junior versus Zion. Maybe next game. I think we played him at least 3 or 4 times.
Well, and I was going to say, you know, Roddy actually did a pretty good job on him. You know, better than I thought. And I mean, really, that was the thing that got me at the end of the night was everybody wanted to talk about Zion's dunk where he got Jaren. I'm like, Jaren
got him like 3 or 4 times.
His dunk attempt, clean. I'm like, you just don't see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm so mad, man, because I'm like, man, look at Zion's fat ass out here just like killing. Like I knew it was coming, man. Like like I remember rookie year and like that All-Star season, his second year, Zion. That dude was a scary basketball player, bro. And he's a phenomenal talent if he ever gets it together with his conditioning. And the fact that he's able to still play above the rim and be that heavy, man, is crazy.
If he's got a runway.
Yeah.
So both of those great dunks he had a clear runway. You see when he's got traffic, he doesn't have that explosion.
He's not the same guy he used to be at all. Yeah.
Go watch those Duke highlights and compare it to his highlights.
Oh, he was incredible.
Completely different guy.
Yeah, he was looking like LeBron or somebody in college for sure. But yeah, man, it's my boy Josh Coleman. I can't say check him out because he ain't in the game right now. But this I feel privileged to have my man back on here with me today, man. Josh Coleman, my man here from 3 Shades of Blue. Y'all remember him. About to take a break, man. When we come back, it's the 3-pointer here on Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
7.5 point favorites. What? Is that exciting to you guys?
No, it's not exciting. I get it.
Point
in the
favorites.
schedule, it's like line them up, knock them down. Come
Yeah,
on. Until
I mean,
you get to SMU, line them up and knock them down.
How many eyes are going to be on the University of Memphis over those 3 games? In person?
Not many, I don't know. Tops 12 to 15,000.
Oh, that is so...
Like top.
North Texas. And then they play Charlotte. But what will Bank of America and Lincoln Financial look like? It will look like the Eagles played on Sunday Night Football against the Dolphins. Lincoln Financial, when Memphis plays Temple, will look like Sunday Night Football did for Eagles Dolphins at approximately 2:30 Monday morning.
So 0 people in the stadium besides the workers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
If I hear
reason.
one more time post game from anybody, staff, player, fan, they ran something defensively we hadn't seen on film, I'm going to lose my mind.
If you and I were head coaches for 2 different teams, do you think you would change up just a little bit what you do
Oh, yeah.
every game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope our defense is doing that. I hope our offense is doing that. I legitimately, when I heard that, I was like, I misunderstood the statement, or he misunderstood the question, because there's no way in hell you want me to believe that you were like, they just didn't run the same thing that we've seen on film the past 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no way.
it's like taking a test and expecting all the answers to be given to you beforehand.
Look, I mean,
The questions were different than the practice test.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the three-pointer. Shout out again to my man, Josh Coleman. That man is not going to be sitting on the bench long. I got to get that man back doing our thing, man, for sure.
That's what I told him after the interview. I was like, yeah, you might not be in the game, but you're in the game.
You're in the game officially now, man. You just don't know we didn't set you up for a booby trap, for sure.
The great return.
The three-pointer, where we talk about three things going on in the world of sports that stand out to me. Number one, man, like I gave a big shout-out to Zion Wiliamson in the opening for the show. I'm going to read a quote of his, Zion Wiliamson on Ja Morant. He says that Ja Morant will come back from suspension better than ever. He says, I don't have anything negative to say about Ja. I never will. Pelican star Zion Wiliamson said of Ja Morant, that's my brother. We all live and we learn, and I can't wait to see him back on the court. Shout out to the two poster boys for all season.
Living and learning.
Living and learning.
You ain't lying.
Oh,
Is
man.
it crazy how quickly that Zion story just got
dissolved? Because it's life, man. Like, these dudes are going to make really bad decisions off the court.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it happens, bro. Like, and those two guys dominated the headlines as far as these dudes are goofy. This summer, as far as Zion and Ja, and it's good to see those two guys supporting each other.
Did we tell Zion after the game to watch out for Tim McMahon coming through?
Yeah, exactly. If you see
New
Tim
Orleans?
McMahon.
If you see Tim McMahon,
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of local business owners that Zion is patronized.
Right.
So I'm sure there's a lot of restaurants there in New Orleans that Zion has showed up in. So just be careful that you don't burn the bridges. I've already said this, Zion, if things don't work out in New Orleans,
man,
I got a home for you here, brother. I would love to have Zion Williamson on this team. But yeah, shout out to Zion Williamson for showing props to Ja Morant. Number two, really quickly, Penny Hardaway had a press conference yesterday, and he spoke saying that he is going to continue supporting Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams, who is collecting assault charges, gun charges, like Infinity Stones. He's up to 9 at this point.
collective felony charges.
Yeah, he's up to 9 of them things.
Like you can't got 9 lives.
He's collected those like I'm collecting Ja Morant shoes out of there, man. I got the zombies on today. I'm gonna stop on these though, man. I don't see anything coming down the pike that I really want.
Do you like those giraffes that came out?
No, that's a little bit too zest. Got a little too much zest.
A little zesty for you?
Yeah, I was cool with the pink joints, but the giraffe print and the swoosh is a little bit too. Just like I'm supposed to wear like a fur coat or something. I don't know, some pearl necklace or something. No, I couldn't get with the. It's cool.
But Anthony, they should have dropped Mikey Williams a long time ago, Anthony.
Yeah, we're gonna stop all that. Here's my thing, man. And I totally understand why people would wonder why Penny's hanging on to this kid. And I had the discussion in the Bluff City Media Discord, which you too can argue with Anthony Sain for the low price of $4.99 a month. If you can argue with
Anthony Sain on a daily basis for $4.99 a month, you're living.
You know what?
Good
I need
life.
to just stop arguing with people on Twitter. Say, if you want to argue with me,
Yep.
I'm gonna shoot. Instead of arguing with
Facts.
people, I'm gonna shoot them a link and say, hey, let's pick this up here.
Hey, we had 7 people join this morning, so
For real?
they're coming for you. You guys, everyone were Sain. No,
Yeah, man. Shout out to
diss track.
Shout out to the guy that was in my DM yesterday, Tiger. I guess probably basketball and football fan that was in my DM yesterday. Actually, I had a civil conversation with him last night. At least I attempted to. I let him know how ridiculous he sounded saying the things he was saying. And he was like, he basically was saying he wished that I would use my platform to bring the city together. I was like, man, brother, I try. Like, I think that's what I do, actually. But I'm also going to call out nonsense. And I asked him the question. I said, do you think that sports can bring a city together? And he said, yes. I said, okay, I'm glad you said that. We'll pick this up tomorrow. But we'll talk about the nonsense that you just said.
Yeah.
Sports don't bring cities together, man. Sports just bring people together. That don't mean that those people are
together.
Are going to be together.
They're not together.
Or on one accord. Yeah. So anyway, well, that's a whole nother subject. But the Penny Hardaway thing. Here are my quick thoughts on that. Penny is in the point now where if he just says, okay, we're disassociating with Mikey Williams, right? Mikey Williams still has to go to trial, right? So let's say that Mikey Williams goes to trial and he's found to be a free man. Let me back you up a little bit more. He's found to be an innocent man. Let me back you up a little bit more. There are people now who think that Mikey Williams is being treated unfairly. That's typically how this type of stuff goes. Whenever somebody does something, it's always, trial amongst peers, all that type of stuff. In the basketball community, there are people who are going to stand for Mikey Williams, other players, other recruits, younger guys, older guys. There are guys who are supporting Mikey Williams, like, to some extent. And there are people who, if Penny comes out and says that's going to be eyes on him for stepping away from Mikey Williams, stepping away from the support. I don't knock what Penny is doing because he's putting it all on the legal system.
Yeah.
If Mikey Williams is free, Penny Hardaway looks good because it's like, hey, Penny stood by that man the entire time, and he said he's going to support that man. Mikey Williams is a free man. If he comes to Memphis after that, that's cool. If he don't, Penny still looks good, right? But if the court of law says that Mikey Williams is guilty of the things he's accused of, Penny don't have to do anything anyway.
Right.
Because the court of law is deciding what's going on with that kid. Penny's really in a no-lose situation because if the kid gets in trouble, if the kid goes to jail or whatever, legally Penny can't do anything anyway. If the kid gets off, he looks like he did the right thing. It looks like he was fine for supporting the kid. I don't understand why fans get so upset about this. Mikey Williams probably has never met anybody on this team. And people's like, oh, it's going to mess up chemistry. How? They don't even know him.
He's not here. He's
not here.
He's in
been
California,
here.
man. Yeah.
And he came here screwing around in Memphis for a little bit, but it ain't like he was at practice.
Right.
It ain't like he's been in class. They don't even know this dude. They probably had no interaction with Mikey Williams. They haven't seen him, will not see him. I don't understand why fans are getting upset about this at all.
A lot of the comments that are out there about the bad PR. Nobody cares about this.
Only people who know about this are people who have like Tiger alerts on their phone.
Right.
Because this isn't national news. No one's talking about this. Like nobody really cares. And people have to understand on these apps and websites like this, they hire people to make content that are specific for teams because they know you're going to cut those alerts on your phone. They know you're going to click those stories. That just because it's popping up on your phone doesn't mean it's a big deal. It's a big deal because you told it to be a big deal to your phone. You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah, so shout out to the people who have that level of passion. I don't get it. I've tried to understand it, and people get mad at me for asking, and then it gets stupid because people just can't have a real, a rational conversation. It's got to go into all this other nonsense. But I support Penny for doing it, and that's not a homer kind of thing because I've been critical of things that Penny's done that I thought were bad decisions. I don't think this is a bad decision. I think he's handling this the best way he can with all things considered. Number 3, the AAC officially added Army as a football school. I don't know anything about that. Don't care about that at all. But my man, Hitman Hoops, reporting that VCU could be added as a basketball-only school. That's pretty good. Another
whatever
good basketball team, whatever. I try to be positive about all this stuff, but until Memphis gets into a better conference, man, all this stuff means
in the end
nil.
It means nothing until there's some more conference realignment stuff coming down the pipe.
And I think it is coming too.
So
yeah, let's see, man. Let's see if we can find a bridge over poverty.
Let's go.
As far as conferences go.
I do want to say one thing real quick before we close the segment out. I know we need to, but Penny did say in the press conference yesterday that it was asked about starters. And he gave 5 starters, which he's never done before. He's usually like, nah.
Super tightened up about that. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to answer that question. He gave 5 starters yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Javon Quinterly, Caleb Mills, David Jones, Jaquan Walton, and Jordan Brown.
Yeah. Looking good.
Which is it. Like that should be your starting
and
five.
I think it should be your starting 5 the entire year. And I've said even if DeAndre Williams is back, I don't want to disrupt that. But anyway, I don't think DeAndre is coming back. But I'll throw that out there too. I just think at this point it looks kind of, nah. I don't see it. But yeah, I like what Penny's doing with that for sure. Man, if I could get, I'm not paying for no tickets, but I might go check out that Lane game if I get tickets. If y'all got some preseason tickets to the Lane game, to the Lane college game, you want to give me, let me know because I'm not paying for tickets for that. But yeah. But yeah, man, that's all I got. That's a 3-pointer for today. Got a special guest coming on, Kenny Stubblefield. My man, Terrell Monger, is going to come on and talk about 2 exciting events going on in the city of Memphis, man. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He can talk sports, too. We're not going to talk sports today, but I'm telling you, he's a great guest to have on. He's going to talk about 2 exciting events coming to the city of Memphis. Going to have that special guest coming up here now, next on the Anthony Sain Show.
The national media hasn't really come around on this team, but I think they have more than enough to be, truthfully, the best team in conference. I mean, you're going to have a really good player coming off of the bench for the Tigers. A double-digit scorer.
Really good players.
But I'm saying like a Jaquan Walton or a David Jones, one of those, like somebody's going to come off the bench for this team.
Yeah.
That's how much talent they have top to bottom. Javon Quinterly and Jordan Brown were 5-star recruits out of high school, and they've been in college for 4 years.
Right.
And they've done well in
and been
college.
Productive, yeah.
They have more than enough talent, top to bottom. Javon Quinterly, Caleb Mills, David Jones, or Jaquan Walton, whatever you want it to be, Nick Jourdain, freaking Jordan. Like, they're 8 guys deep of productive starters at this level, proven productive starters at this level.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Did Trent Dilfer break bro code?
You talking about with the
Yes.
QB?
Yes, he did.
Sitch?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say because we're not there. They said he just didn't pass protocol that day. So at what point did he take the concussion protocol test? I have no idea. But I will tell you that Ryan was not happy in the radio post game about it at all.
Well, I think they're supposed to give you a list, and maybe they did, saying that, hey, he's questionable, he may not make it. I heard nothing over Zeno not playing.
Oh, no. It wasn't until McMurphy tweeted it at, I don't know,
like literally as they were kicking
10:30 that he wasn't playing. I had no clue either. But yeah, Ryan was not happy. He said something to the effect of like, I will always remain to be open and let people know what's going on injury-wise and who is playing, who's not.
Sure.
They throw a quarterback out there with full pads and a helmet on, warming up, and then don't play him. That was obviously very annoying.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. I have a special guest with me today. My man, Terrell Monger from the One Glory Athletic Association is here joining me today. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's one of those dudes that you feel like you're closer to. You one of the guys I feel like I'm real close to you. We don't actually talk all the time. We don't have a lot of interactions. But this is my guy, man. Terrell Monger, like I said, with One Glory Athletic Association. Got 2 events he wants to talk to you guys about, 2 amazing events. Hope you guys check out. I've witnessed one of these before, and I've seen, I'm participating in one of them. So make sure y'all come check it out. The first one we're going to talk about is your Holy Hip Hop basketball game with special guest referee, the grandfather himself, Tony Allen.
The grandfather himself.
That's happening on November 3rd, right?
It's November 3rd.
All right, tell us about it.
It's going to be at 4741 Winchester and One Glory at our gym. And we took all the local Holy Hip Hop artists, and we're creating what would be seen as a celebrity basketball game. So we had to have Anthony Sain being the commentator. It wouldn't make sense if it didn't.
Pastor, you sure about this? Let me ask you, are you sure you want to bring Anthony Sain onto commentating on your stuff?
It's like Forrest Gump, man.
It's
the chocolate,
right?
You never know what you're going to get.
Pastor, with that being said, I need you to give me a list of terms that I cannot use. Since I will be on church ground, I let it fly on this show pretty much the way I let Kenny know when the big words are coming, the F words, all that type of stuff are coming. So we can go in and edit those out.
Well, we're looking for any moment that's gonna go viral. So you have free reign.
Up now. Yeah, all right.
You got the guy to do it. You got the guy to do it.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, just let me know who's easily offended amongst the ministers.
I want you to intentionally offend the easily offended.
Okay,
so I'll make sure
sounds
I point
good,
them
Pastor.
out.
I got you. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So what's the cost? Like what's the cost to get in?
But there's no cost.
Okay,
we're bringing them out. It's kind of like a prelude to the Influence stage play we're doing the next day.
The next day, okay.
It is an official hip hopera celebrating 50 years of hip hop.
Yeah,
I came to hip hop when it was pure, when it was about keeping kids out of trouble, when it was about stopping the violence. But when it took its turn, I saw what happened to it. And because hip hop was in my heart, I felt like somebody stole my girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is an attempt to get my girl back. We trying to do something positive with hip hop, see if I can win her back.
Right. See, I was at the Influence stage play last year, and it was great. It was a strong foundation laid. Shout out to my boy Latrell Freeman, the producer of that, pretty much the
Young Titan.
the brainchild of that endeavor. It was a great play, had a lot of potential, and I know that with him partnering with you, it's just gonna go to the next level for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a great play about teenagers and decisions they have to make, things that we as adults don't think about that this generation of teenagers have to face. Totally different situations than what we had to go through. Is what these kids have to go through. So I tell you guys to come out for that. Now I know you're charging for the play, right? How much?
Absolutely, $25
Okay.
for the play.
Okay.
I wanted to keep it low because it's going to go to the Cannon Center later on. And the tickets are going to be real high. But I just want this one to be something that people can bring their whole family out because I wanted to make a conversation with parents and their children because periodically through this particular stage play, we're going to put a QR code up on the screen and the people get to respond to and even decide what happened next in the production.
Wow. Okay.
So, kind of make it a little interactive. Yeah.
Kind of like a choose your own adventure book. like back in the day. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
we want to know what they think because this one is centered around how entertainment affects us differently depending on our own history and what we're going through. So it's two kids who come from a private school, but now they're in a hood school, but they're there for different reasons, and the environment affects them both differently. So it's an actual hip opera. I get to drop a verse in it.
Then.
I get to dig into my roots,
Okay then. All right.
So, but it's an amazing. We rewrote it. It's an amazing production that's going to tell a very compelling story.
Yeah, man. It's going to be off the chain for sure. Like I said, I was at the last one, and I'm expecting this one to be even greater. Quick question for you, though. I know I brought you on to promote. You said something that stood out to me about how the music we grew up on, to an extent, was a lot more. We grew up on some wild stuff too, but to an extent, there was at least some type of glimpse of positivity.
Right.
How much of a responsibility do you feel? I kind of feel like the hip hop, the holy hip hop or the Christian rap scene needs to kind of take a shift to kind of gear more towards positivity.
Right.
More so than ministry. I don't want that to come out wrong, but it's like I understand the ministry part, but I think that with the times we're in now, if you really want to reach these young people, you have to kind of adapt what you're doing and make Jesus or make Christ, whatever you're doing, something that's more digestible to this younger group of people.
Yeah.
And kind of speaking a language they understand. What are your thoughts on it?
No, I agree because the current hip hop state, and even if it's in holy hip hop, we're raising a bastard generation. We're raising a generation without fathers.
Right.
And since they don't know fathers, they don't know honor. Everything else has a hierarchy. In a gang, you have to respect. In a job, you have to respect. But in this genre of hip hop, we don't think we have to respect anyone. We don't think we have to earn our certain spots. Because I have an opinion, my opinion has to be heard.
Right.
No matter the fact that the emotion or the experience that led you there. You have an opinion, but it's built on hurt.
Yeah.
It's built on rejection. So now you're putting your hurt and your rejection into other people and calling it holy. It's not. You gotta heal.
Yeah.
And when you heal, your music can heal other people. And if you don't allow anybody to hold up a mirror, you never see yourself. So what I try to do in the holy hip hop world, I do this breakfast I do once a month to really trying to talk and deliver some accountability. I don't feel anyone has to listen to me, but I'm hoping we can plant some seeds to make people be more accountable with their gifts.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man, for sure. Again, like I said, One Glory Athletic Association is putting on 2 great events coming up next weekend. The Holy Hip Hop basketball game. Tony Allen will be in the building as a special guest referee. I'm going to be doing some commentary. You know I'm going to be acting the fool. They give me a mic. Come to that. It's absolutely free, and that's all just a celebration for the big event, which is going to be the play called Influence on November the 4th at on Winchester. Give them the address one more time.
4741 Winchester.
Right, $25. I'm sure you can go on Eventbrite or whatever to get your tickets.
You can go to www.withoneaccord.com. Withoneaccord.com. There's a 3 o'clock show and a 7 o'clock show, but whichever one you come to, you're going to get everything you came to see.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all check that out for sure. My man, Terrell Monger. I got to get you back on, man, to talk sports too, because this man can go there too for sure. But y'all go check all the things he talked about out. My man, Terrell Monger. When we come back, it's going to be Inside the Sain Brain here on Anthony Sain Show. We see you guys in a minute.
Thank you, man.
The national media hasn't really come around on this team, but I think they have more than enough to be, truthfully, the best team in conference. I mean, you're going to have a really good player coming off of the bench for the Tigers. A double-digit scorer.
Really good players.
But I'm saying like a Jaquan Walton or a David Jones, one of those, like somebody's going to come off the bench for this team.
Yeah.
That's how much talent they have top to bottom. Javon Quinterly and Jordan Brown were 5-star recruits out of high school, and they've been in college for 4 years.
Right.
And they've done well in
been
college.
Productive, yeah.
They have more than enough talent, top to bottom. Javon Quinterly, Caleb Mills, David Jones, or Jaquan Walton, whatever you want it to be, Nick Jourdain, freaking Jordan. Like, they're 8 guys deep of productive starters at this level, proven productive starters at this level.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
If I hear
reason.
one more time post-game from anybody, staff, player, fan, they ran something defensively we hadn't seen on film, I'm going to lose my mind.
If you and I were head coaches for 2 different teams, do you think you would change up just a little bit what you do?
Oh, yeah.
Every game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope our defense is doing that. I hope our offense is doing that. I legitimately, when I heard that, I was like, I misunderstood the statement. Or he misunderstood the question. Because there's no way in hell you want me to believe that you were like, they just didn't run the same thing that we've seen on film the past 6 weeks.
Yeah,
There's no way.
it's like taking a test and expecting all the answers to be given to you beforehand.
Look, I mean,
The questions were different than the practice test.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Final segment of the show, Inside the Sain Brain. Shout out to our 2 guests today, Josh Coleman, great Grizzlies talk. Gotta get Josh on the show. Gotta get him off the bench, man, for sure. My man, Josh Coleman of 3 Shades of Blue. Got to get him back on here for sure. And also shout out to Terrell Monger. Those 2 great events he's having. The hip hop basketball game with Tony Allen as the referee. I'm gonna be doing some commentary on the mic, so y'all know it's gonna be some wild shit going on.
It's gonna be fire
for sure. The day after that, I'm gonna have the play. Influence. The play is going to be on November the 4th, $25. Get those on Eventbrite and their website. I can't remember what he said. Ken, if you find it, throw it at the bottom. Yeah, throw it at the bottom for me. Yeah, it's going to be great. Great weekend coming up next weekend. My birthday is November 3rd, too.
Let's go, man.
So, yeah, so I'll be having fun out there with Tony Allen and the hip-hop rappers out there on my birthday. It's going to be good stuff. Inside the Same Brain, man, just getting kind of sad, bro. This dating stuff that's going on. We had the 2 videos that came out a few weeks ago that I talked about. They were basically fake. They were basically skits, but they sparked real conversation because that is a real way of thinking. A lot of people have encountered those type of situations in dating. And this prompted a list where they asked, I guess they polled women, or maybe just some bullshit list, like somebody just made a list and put it out. But it's gone viral. List of things list of places that men should never take a woman on the first date, according to women, right? And it's like everything. You know what I mean?
Did you see Tammy Sawyer's list? She came out with a video and said, there's only one place you can't take me on a date.
What she say?
Jail.
Oh, yeah. If you want to meet Tammy Sawyer, follow up in the Inkwell. I know that's where she hangs out in Inkwell all the time. If you say, hey, let's go have drinks at the Inkwell, that'll probably work for Tammy because I know that's where the homie be at all the time. But, list comes out. It's like any chain restaurant, the movies, bowling, to a bar just for drinks, miniature golf, like everything in the world, man. Like coffee dates, like literally everything is on this list, right? So basically, if it's not some 5-star local, dining experience, like don't take me, like or out of town somewhere, like that's the only thing. And it just made me so upset, man. But I got renewed hope in humanity yesterday, man. Another post. 2 posts came out yesterday, Kenny Stubblefield, that have gone pretty viral that just bring hope back to me, man. Husband and wife took a photo shoot at their favorite dating spot, which is the Waffle House. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. But
yes, man. It is so freaking good, man. Husband and wife posed up at the Waffle House, taking all type of pictures there. I think that was an amazing photo shoot. And then there was another post just simply about married people asking them what their first date was, which kind of trumped everything. And how long y'all been together, what the first date was. And people are posting it. The comments are great. People are like, we had a date planned at this place, but his car broke down and we had to catch the bus to get here, and we ended up eating this in the bus. We just fell in love that day and
been together since
20, 30 years, that type of stuff. And I just said all that to say, man, we can't get so caught up in stuff that we forget about love, man. And just finding your companion, man, and your person. You know what I mean? You guys are both married. I've been married before. I, of course, want to get married again. But, man, we just can't get so caught up in stuff, man. We lose track of what we're really supposed to be doing. And shout out to those posts who've just combated just the complete ignorance. Because guys came out with one about the type of women not to date. And, of course, it was single women and, single mothers and all this kind of, I was like, man, this is so dumb, bro.
So ugly, man.
Yeah, because me personally, bro, I've got a son who's just made 10 years old. And eventually, me and Gabe's mom are going to switch custody where Gabe lives with me more than he lives with her. And when that happens, me personally, I hear guys talk about, I don't date single mothers. I'm 43 years old. So if I date a lady that's in my age range,
right,
I would prefer that she does have kids because that means that she's got experience about what she's about to walk into. You know what I'm saying? If you get with me, my son's about to be living with me. I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm not going to get into a lot of specifics of why I feel that way. But that's what I prefer. If I hear guys saying, you don't date a single mother. I'm like, I got a kid my own damn self. I'm looking like somebody I don't date somebody because they got a kid. But anyway, man, it's just wild stuff. But shout out to the people using common sense, man. Because I said this and I'll say it again, man. The people you see now that are 30 and 40 years old who operate with this level of delusion are direct young adults and kids that were raised by reality TV and social media. And it's made these weird adults have a very skewed view of what life, love, and relationships
are. Some real weirdos out there.
And it's crazy, man. But shout out to the people who are bringing hope back to a sick world, man, for sure. But, man, shout out to all my guests today. Again, Joshua Coleman. Shout out to Terrell Monger. Make sure y'all go check out the events that Terrell Monger is hyping up for next week. I will be there at the hip-hop basketball game, celebrity basketball game on November 3rd. I'm going to be doing commentary. Tony Allen will be the special guest referee, and then the play, Influence, the next day on November 4th. Check out both of those as well. For Kenny Stubblefield and for Gary, not Gary Parrish, Perry Sharkey. If I had Gary Parrish as my producer, I'd be, that'd be in a whole nother place for sure. But yeah, man, for those gentlemen behind the glass, this is Anthony Sain. See you guys next week on the Anthony Sain Show.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.